This is the first time I've seen her miss.
She's missed before.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be awesome.
I told her it was gonna be a big meeting.
No, she'll only be home by 8:06, right?
Yeah.
That was our birthday.
Next time it's like this, somebody's got to bring a hot cocoa.
This is unreal, the weather, this Michigan weather, it's unreal. We'll go from winter to summer.
Gail got up this morning and said, no, we better mow the lawn.
TJ today?
Just went out and mowed.
She
got
is
it.
not feeling well.
It just was down.
Yeah.
The wife was questionable a couple of days ago, and I'm doing good, and still some stuff.
She says, you
I told him he got into something.
Okay.
The moon's kind of fun.
That's what I did. I said, huh?
I'm not.
And I'm like, oh, it's fun. You're outside. It's relaxing. Yeah.
Scott Weingart was telling me, Weingart has a mower. He goes out every day, mows the lawn, he'll mow for an hour, come back in charge, go back right where it was.
Like a robot.
Yeah, robot, yeah. He says, I get one, but he says, I just enjoy mowing so much. He says,
Okay,
I don't
7:30.
know.
Welcome, all of you, all three of you. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Meeting will start at 7:30. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
If I may call attendance, please.
Yes, please.
Bart Con.
Here.
Carol Lewandowski. Here. TJ McLaughlin.
Absent, excused.
Pamela Lowe.
Here.
Bruce Reed. Here. Robert Rizzo.
Here.
And Daniel Brigade.
Here.
And complete.
Okay, thank you. Number 4, approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for May 21st, 2018 as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the agenda for May 21st, 2018 as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Number 5, public comment. None. Me. Okay, new business items. We have a public hearing. We have a motion to, do you want to go through it first, or do we open the public hearing first?
Either way, you can open it and I can go through it, or I can go through it and then you can open it.
Okay, let's open it. Do we have a motion to,
I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for 18-002 for parcel ID A-01-30-300-039. Second.
all those in favor of opening public hearing 18-002, parcel ID A-1-30-30-300-039, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The public hearing is open at 7:32.
Okay, so this is a request, a petition for rezoning. The property owner has petitioned the township to amend 2.27 acres of land from office commercial to agricultural residential. The property is located on the south side of Pontiac Trail, just south of the intersection of North Territorial and Pontiac. Southeast, the road's kind of at an angle in that area. The subject parcel was rezoned from Ag to OC originally in 91 by the applicant. It's my understanding that they would like to now build a house on this property, and so they're looking to turn it back into agricultural residential. So this is essentially a down zoning. On the second sheet of my report, you can see aerial photo of the site. It's a rectangular shaped site. It's approximately 350 feet of frontage along Pontiac Trail. It's my understanding that there is already an approved access point along this road. The area surrounding it is agricultural to the east, or agricultural residential to the east, which is currently in residential uses. There's a couple of vacant lots to the east and southeast. To the northeast and southwest along Pontiac Trail, there are 2 parcels that are both zoned office commercial, and then to the north across is another vacant piece of land in a local commercial zoning district. So all those sites surrounding this separate parcel are vacant at this time. With regard to the master plan and the kind of projected zoning for this area, if you note the future land use plan from the master plan, it indicates that the area around the intersection could be used for a local commercial node. Obviously, there's the Flower Bar coffee shop in that area. There's the old gas station in that area, and then basically everything else is vacant. So it doesn't, excuse me, there's also the petitioner's property, which has a dental practice on the corner as well. But it doesn't appear that there's been a lot of development pressure in this area. And so, again, the future land use plan kind of indicates a node of commercial, but everything else surrounding that is agricultural residential. So the development potential, as I indicated, the applicant is looking to do a residential home on the site, but obviously any of those agricultural uses that would be permitted in AR district would be permitted there. The size we suggest is somewhat prohibitive to do any kind of large-scale agricultural use, but you can certainly have a couple of horses on the property based on the existing 2 acres plus that the parcel is. With regard to the existing zoning, the office commercial, there's a whole myriad of commercial uses that could be there, offices, etc. So with any rezoning, obviously you have to have a public hearing, which is what you're doing now. After the public hearing and your discussion, you would be making a recommendation to the board to take action on this because it's the board's prerogative to make zoning changes. And then the ordinance section 68.05 has a number of findings that you should go through, and so I'll just kind of briefly go through what I have in my report and encourage you to discuss them and determine whether you concur with these or have additional thoughts after the public hearing is over. But I'll just go through those real quickly. A, evaluate the existing zoning and development patterns. We talked about that a little bit already. The current development pattern is consistent with large lot residential development in the AR district. The lots in the area are sized to accommodate single-family homes. The current zoning is OC. The conditions in the area are still consistent with the AR district, as many of the surrounding lots have not been built upon. B, apparent demand. There's no apparent demand for developing anything other than residential in the immediate area. The parcel, including the subject parcel, that front along Pontiac Trail in this area have been zoned OC for more than 20 years, and there's been no development interest that I'm aware of. Availability of public services and infrastructure. This area is not served by public utilities. The uses allowed on the site, if they were rezoned to AR, would likely be less intense from an infrastructure needs standpoint than if the site were developed for OC. D, compatibility. Much of the surrounding area is vacant or developed with single-family homes. If the site were developed for a single-family home, it would be compatible with the intended low-intensity local commercial node planned for the corner. The site is too small to establish many of the more intense rural uses permitted in the AR district. Further, as indicated in the zoning ordinance, OC is recognized as a transition zone from AR district. Therefore, the uses in the district should be compatible with anything that's developed on the neighboring lots. And then finally, consistency with master plan based on the land use strategies and the density map from the adopted Salem Township master plan. The subject parcel is close to what is planned for local commercial node at or near the intersection of North Territorial and Pontiac. but the area surrounding this node is planned for AR, therefore the petition to change back to AR for this parcel is consistent with the master plan. I'm happy to answer any questions.
How close is it to the, there's a home with a dentist office in it, isn't there, or there?
That's correct.
Okay, how close is that lot to that home?
There's a parcel between the two.
Between the two?
So I would, just a rough ballpark is about 400 feet.
Okay. I went by there and I should have taken a look.
Well,
The
as
dentist is on North Territorial.
The dentist is on
Driveway
that
attaches
corner.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you turn left from North Territorial going south on Pontiac Trail, it'd be another, 300, 400 feet down.
Okay, on the left side, yeah. And the dentist office is still operating, is it?
That's correct. And in fact, the dentist, Dr. Johnson is the petitioner.
Oh, okay, okay.
And he's here, so he may have some comments of his own, or if you have questions for him.
I've heard he's good reputation.
What's the size of the current piece parcel right now? What is the size, shape of the current parcel?
2.27 acres.
Oh, it's already standalone, it's not asking for redrawing of any line?
No lot split at all, no.
Oh, okay. I was for some
So if you,
reason, I was
if you
thinking-
look at the second page of my report, there's an aerial photo, and the blue square indicates the subject parcel.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that they were just becoming that shape, it wasn't already that shape. Okay. Then my next question is null and void.
Gotcha.
One thing that I had to say was I have no problem with the rezoning, but I was just kind of confused. I thought that maybe that property being zoned office commercial would have more value in the future. And also, I don't know if you wanted a home within 300 feet of that intersection with possible commercial development in the future, but that's your choice, and I don't have any problem with the rezoning.
So if you don't have specific questions for me, maybe you open up for the public hearing, and then when you're done with that, then you can have your discussion
Okay.
amongst the board.
You guys have anything for Paul?
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
As far as like sight line for driveway, and I mean, anything like that that could come up afterwards and say, no, you can't build a home on it, I would just recommend to the person petitioning for this that they may want to, do they know that they can get that? Because if they zone this residential and find out, oh, by the way, you can't do that, then they may say, oh, I really wish I could reverse it.
It's my understanding that they already have an approved access site that's not
Okay.
on the site, but
Well and septic field
You have
approval and
not.
all that
No
good
site- No
stuff.
site plan.
no, access from the road
Oh,
commission.
good access, no problem there.
Okay, okay, yeah, the other thing is well and septic, but.
That soil perks real good in that corner, Sam.
What?
That soil perks real good in that corner.
We don't do perk tests anymore in Washtenaw County.
Okay. What do we do?
That's what I was told, I think 12 years ago, I remember the guy told me, it's hilarious.
Okay.
We
Sorry.
do absorption.
My
Okay.
mistake. I apologize.
That's the.
You gotta close the public hearing.
Oh.
No.
No, that's the public.
I'm sorry.
I have it with 33 feet, and it's 2 acres net. Right on the button, huh?
2.27.
Okay, that's, well, now you gotta have 2 acres after the right-of-way line. So you look at the net number, not the gross.
Okay.
Always look at the net number, guys.
Does
There's
the
no,
public have any discussion?
there's no,
Mr. Horton, you are the public.
there's no power line or anything going through there that has any right-of-way.
There's nothing there.
Nothing on the property that shows anybody has shared access or anything like that, that would take away acreage or.
Is the,
Okay.
Pam,
So do we
is
have,
the documents, everything?
do you have anything you'd like to contribute? You want it done, right? Just get it done. Okay, so now we will, do we have a motion to close the public hearing and then we can have our discussion?
Motion closed.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
all those in favor of closing the public hearing, 18-002, parcel ID A 01-30-300-039 is now closed at 7:44. And the commissioners can have their discussion amongst one another.
Yeah.
What time?
7:44.
7:44.
What's that?
Voting to close it now?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Still 7:44. Okay. Sorry, my brain was elsewhere. We're moving so fast. Okay, do the commissioners have any additional comments, questions, discussion points?
Well, the only thing for myself, it's a personal thing. You're not going to leave the area, are you, Doctor?
No.
Because the only thing I do miss is you and your wife in those two-wheel carriages going down to Voorhees and going south
You saw us do that.
on the Sundays, Sunday morning. My wife and I would see you while we were on the way to church.
Yeah,
Sorry for your loss,
yeah.
but I have nothing, I have no problem with it.
I want to make an appointment or anything like that?
No, not today.
Okay. I guess the only comment I have is that, putting residential right there, things are, it's just a comment. Things are always changing. What's open now may not be open and vast and beautiful as it is now, so, but things are always changing, so, you just, you need to ensure that you're prepared for that kind of mother hen comment, I suppose. Because things, that's what we see here. Things, the only constant here in Salem is change. So what was calm and now things get a little hectic. So being in that section the way it is currently zoned.
It's potential, it's a prime commercial corridor.
It is. And things are, the economy's ticking up and who knows, so.
In comments, and nice looking residential lot as well, not trying to sway, but it's well, growth along the street edge there, so again, the leaf time of year is, well,
Sure, but the leaves don't always stay in traffic.
Nope,
Is the other
traffic is
issue,
the
is
same
what I
way, yeah.
think of, so. Okay.
Driveway 55 miles an hour.
Yes, getting out of your driveway safely, all those
Well,
kind of
there's-
things, but, it's
There
close
was
to the
talk
farm.
in the county doing a roundabout at that intersection to keep the focus, the backups in all the directions
They're always
is
talking
horrendous.
about that, but they
Down
never have any
Territorial,
money.
and especially going south on Pontiac Trail, it backs up way past the curve, the double curve down there on the north side.
Well, if they're going slow, it'd be easier to turn out into there.
There you go.
Okay, well, shall we, would someone like to propose a motion?
Yeah.
We would, great.
Okay, I propose a motion that we make a recommendation to the board to approve, I'm trying to think of the number of this parcel here.
Oh.
I have 18002. Yeah, 18-002, okay, I see.
Here, just take that.
Propose a motion that we recommend to the board to approve the request in public hearing 18-002, partial ID A-01-30-300-039, to send this to the board. I guess the group sending it to the board.
I second it.
Okay. Roll call vote. All those in favor of approving of sending this,
What? Just
wait,
basically call the roll call. They'll
Oh,
vote
okay.
in the
No.
roll call.
okay, sorry.
Okay. Um,
After a motion, there should be discussion, right? Any motion, any discussion, further discussion?
Is there? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You can just go through it.
Sorry, I've been a little
It's all right. It's
presumptuous
been a month.
and quick. Getting ahead of myself and everybody else.
Okay, ready for the roll call vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, Bart Con,
Yes.
Darrell Lewandowski,
Yes.
James not here, Karen Noel,
Yes.
Bruce Reed, yes. Bob Rizzo,
Yes.
and Dan Budir.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion passed.
Do you vote?
Motion passed.
Okay.
Motion passed.
All right.
I'll take this one for ice cream.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay, number 7, old business items. Salem South Lyon Library final site plan.
And they do realize that they have to stay for the entire meeting, all right?
That would be cruel and unusual punishment.
I was going to anyhow.
Have a great evening.
Oh. Before we get started, I spoke with Janet from the library.
The director?
Donna, I spoke with Donna. Okay. And she mentioned she couldn't be here because they are having their own board meeting because of the holiday. They had to bump it up.
Linda's not here.
That's why Linda's not here.
Yeah.
So, but her only concern was that someone told her she had to be here. And I said, well, I'm sure that you will represent her just fine. If she's comfortable with that, then we're comfortable with that. And she also brought up again that sidewalk, the pedestrian sidewalk, that, whether or not, they had to do that and there were concerns about it, but they weren't coming from the library. They were coming from someone else. And I told her that we had already addressed this in our last meeting. It was just a recommendation to have the pedestrian sidewalk because of all the discussion of the pathways in the township and whatnot. And it's just as while you're building, if it can be done, it was just a suggestion. And she said they didn't have the funding for it. And I said, okay.
So that will be off the plan, will it?
For the fine plan.
Yes, okay.
Or it'll be called future.
Yeah, something for the future, okay.
Okay. So then Paul,
Okay,
if you would
so-
like to.
This is the final site plan submission for the building addition to the Salem South Lyon District Library. Obviously, you saw this before when you approved the preliminary plan with some conditions. And generally, the applicant has addressed all the outstanding items from the preliminary. The sidewalk, as you noted, was an outstanding issue. They did show that on the plan. I had some comments about how to ensure that it kind of continues to provide that pedestrian protection, as opposed to just dumping into the parking lot, running it through the last island and putting some striping down. As you indicate, they're not intending to build it now, so what we suggested in our report, in addition to adding those additional kind of details to ensure that pedestrian pathway all the way to the front of the building, is to put a note that just says that this will be built at a later time. It's not done with this project, so I think the applicant has devised a way to do that. We had one other comment. Basically, everything is the same as what you'd seen before in terms of the addition and the location of the addition. There were a number of plants that are being proposed to run along the sidewalk that goes between the parking lot and the door to the addition. Our landscape guy in the office suggested that the burning bushes are maybe not the best because they're invasive species, so we suggested that those be switched out. I don't know if that's, you got an answer here. Did that comment come through to you?
Pardon?
Did that comment about the burning bushes come through?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
And then I believe the township engineer had a comment about calculations in terms of, the original design was based on Washtenaw County standards. At the time it was developed, the Washtenaw County standards have changed, so that was their largest comment, was they wanted to see some updated calculations to ensure that the sizing is right. In general, we think the site plan looks fine. We would recommend approval with the condition that these couple of outstanding items are taken care of. Obviously, the applicant's here, and I think he can speak to some of those things.
I think, didn't Stantec say that you had a responsibility for one portion of this in here? Was it painting or something? Just, said the township planner, I'm just trying to look at it in the Stantec report.
They often do that.
I should have,
Which line item is it?
I think it was in the second sheet. I'm trying to find it real quick, and naturally I can't.
Let's go first.
Details for the exterior facade, they defer to the township planner.
Oh,
That may be the one you're talking about, number
okay,
22.
probably so.
Yeah. And again, we talked about the facade last time and the design that they're using. And again, I believe the applicant has brought some colored renderings to show you.
Okay.
So that's really, the facade issues really are up to you.
Oh, okay.
as the planning commission. Our recommendation was that we thought that the design was consistent with what they have.
Okay.
That's all.
All set? Okay.
Again, I'm Ron Cieslak from Merritt Cieslak Design, representing the library tonight. I am the design architect. And just to kind of go full circle on the whole walk question, I have a letter just to go. So you have something for your file.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stating that we will defer that to a later time. The other part of what I handed out was just a reduction of this, just showing that our intent is to continue the same colors and finishes on the new addition as on the existing building that we're adding onto. The only difference is we have a metal roof over this section, which is not on the original building. So we want it to blend. We're not trying to make an overt architectural statement here. With that, excuse me, the consulting engineer Stantec had some comments on the stormwater retention. Unfortunately, we didn't get the letters in time to resolve anything, but as they pointed out in their letter, and as Paul had mentioned, we're in the process of working that out with them to get them the information they need. I recognize that the plantings, what is recommended, we change the plantings for our hedge, and I've got several alternatives that I'll coordinate with you to make sure we have something which is acceptable. With that, I would ask that, as noted in Stantec's letter and as Paul mentioned, that we would ask that we receive final site plan approval tonight, contingent upon resolving these issues with the engineer and with Carlisle Wortman. And I would be happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Gentlemen? Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my bearing on what I'm looking at.
I have nothing to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Everything's fine with me.
This is the new addition. That's what we're proposing.
And I'm looking which
You're
direction?
looking from the parking lot.
I'm facing east.
That is correct. This is the existing children's area
On the
that we're
south side.
adding on to. And this is the other side of the existing children's area, just to show the colors and textures.
So we're looking, on this one, we're looking southwest.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's at the far end, it's at the far left end of that picture is where the addition is.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't have a good picture of where.
I'm there now.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I just have one, it's just a curiosity type question. The door that goes between the addition and the children's library.
In plan?
Yes. And so just my question is, you know, obviously with all
This door?
the one that connects the new portion with the old portion.
There is no door. This is wide open.
They're taking down the wall.
Taking the wall right out.
Isn't there a door at the top there?
Right now, there's a door right here.
What about the top? Isn't that a door?
You're talking.
Right down, right where, you were just about an inch and a half from the top,
Right
of that,
there.
right there. Isn't that a door?
That's a door going into the program room. We have two
Oh, I
doors
see.
going into the program room. And then we have two doors coming out of the program room. But there is a door right here right now that's being
Okay.
removed along with the rest of the.
Well,
store.
I thought I read that that area can be self-contained and closed off from the rest of the library, is that right?
The program room can't be,
Okay, just the program.
just the program room. That's
Okay.
why we created a separate entrance.
Okay, okay.
And in fact,
That's where my question is.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, my question is in regards to, obviously with all the crazy happenings in the news
Sure.
and things like that, and obviously being right next to the children's section, those doors, whatever type you choose, are there going to be something that's like self-locking? So I guess I'm thinking, you know, I guess I'm trying to say, if, God forbid, you know, people are attacking schools and churches and all this crazy stuff, is the library have a plan and thinking about protecting,
they are.
Okay.
They have.
not that you have to
No.
explain it all, but, you know, what just happened,
Of course.
you know.
Yeah, you're right.
And when I read through and they say locking, I'm thinking, okay, are we relying on someone to go and lock the doors? We know how that usually works out. Is there, you know, a better mechanism out there for like, there's self-locking, or what is the plan?
I don't have the exact plan yet
Oh, okay.
because it hasn't been resolved. The problem is, you always have to be able to get out of a
Right.
locked door. That's the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
difficulty
Right,
for emergency. Our plan right now, the way we got it set up, these doors are locked.
Okay.
They have windows in them because there's children in there, so you have to be able to see in there.
sure.
But when this room is used by children, students, these doors are locked.
well, the
I guess
the
I'm thinking of
existing-
the separation.
What you're saying, I worked the elections over there quite a few
Okay.
times, okay? And the door in the back the room where we held the elections.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, okay, that door would swing out, but it would lock when it's shut, okay? Because if we wanted to keep it open, we had to put a
Yes, yes.
put a little piece of wood in there.
Right.
If that's what I'm just trying to clarify, like.
Yeah, I guess I.
Well, in other words, you can go out, but when it closes, it locks.
Yeah,
That's the way these doors are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and these doors will be similar unless
Okay.
they're unlocked for
Right.
an
Right.
after-hours meeting.
Okay,
Right.
Okay,
okay.
same thing with these. These will only be used,
no, no,
there'll be no public access to these doors during regular business hours unless there's a meeting going on back there.
sure,
That needs to be used.
okay.
What's
I
the-
guess,
Sorry.
just to ensure that, you know, with all the things that are going on, you know, I know I asked our principal at our school, I have young children, I said, what's the plan for when these children are in mass? Because they go to mass every week.
Mhm.
And, you know, I want to ensure there's a plan. And one of the things I heard, and this was like before they had Homeland Security, maybe this is too much information, was the principal says, well, I'm up in the balcony. And I'm like, okay, so if somebody comes in with a weapon, and we've got all our, you know, our kindergartners up front for, you know, what are you gonna do? Other than watch what's going on and be a witness. So I guess I was just wondering, is there a plan? Because, you know, there are children there and it is separate and it is after, you know, just to, do they have a plan?
Excuse me, it's my understanding that the library is working on a plan. I
Okay,
know there's been discussions, but I think
Okay.
they're trying to involve law enforcement, you know, to help them work out a plan which would be
Okay.
secure. And that's the best approach, because those people know what they're doing.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's-
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will pass that concern on to Donna too.
Okay,
Okay. Be happy.
Take a look at that east view again.
Yes, sir.
It's probably, well, it's not a zoning thing or anything, it's,
This
It's a metal roof.
or this?
Yeah, that's a mechanical room right there, so out in front,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it projects out of.
It comes
Yeah,
out.
It comes out,
Okay.
I see.
Yeah.
And now, you got like a 12-12 roof going down, you know, down to the right, down to the left.
It's just a shed roof.
Okay,
Yeah, this is a 512. Yeah.
okay, 512, okay, head your finger down to the left. What happens with water, snow right there? It looks like that goes right up against the flat wall.
No, it doesn't.
It's an outside wall, or is that,
This is an outside wall, but it rises up.
it's above?
It's above. Here's the eave of this roof. Here's the eave of this. So there's a little triangular piece there.
As long as you don't want the snow to fall on someone's head,
Yeah, no.
that's all.
okay. Anyone else? All right,
Just a sidewalk going up to that door.
That is correct.
What's covered on the outside of that door?
There's about a 4-foot covering, the canopy over this door. These columns.
I mean, it's not a zoning thing, but everywhere in that area, that red arrow, I'd probably put concrete, so it's a nice area for people to gather.
It is, there is concrete
Yeah.
outside those doors.
All right, so I'm just seeing a sidewalk going up to it kind of thing, that's all. Kind of think of the crowd before they're let in type of situation.
You're saying up here.
Yeah. Instead of just a sidewalk, I mean, you know, if it's gonna be a formal event, ladies are standing there in your heels and there's nothing but grass and muddy things to sink in. I know what my wife would say.
I would pass that comment on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
that's a
just,
suggestion.
just think of the people that are standing
Sure.
outside waiting to get in type of thing, and they're all gonna congregate, and if it's
Sure.
covered, it's a little bit nicer too, probably.
Good point.
But everything else looks fine, let's go.
Thank you.
Rock and roll, man.
Good point.
anything
Gotta
from
keep the life happy.
Okay. I think everyone's good.
I think it's great that our library's doing this.
Yes.
I think this is, you know,
So, do we have a motion? Anyone have a
Oh.
motion?
I'll make a motion.
Oh,
Please.
excellent. Okay.
Okay, yeah, do we have a number on the site plan?
18-001.
Probably just this.
Make a motion that we approve the 18-001 Salem South Lyon Library final site plan.
Do you want to add conditions that they address the outstanding items for you?
With the understanding that the outstanding issues will be resolved.
With Stan Tech
It was Stan Tech, it was,
and the
We
and the
had-
landscaping.
yeah, the facade.
Per the letter.
You can
Yeah.
just reference both of those letters.
Yeah, for the two letters from the planner and Stan Tech, right?
And you'll pass on the 2 comments. Excellent. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. A roll call vote, please.
Okay, roll call vote. Bart Kahn?
yes.
Darrell Lewandowski? Yes. TJ is not here, Pam Lowe?
Yes.
Bruce Reed, yes. Robert Rizzo.
Yes.
And Dan Gary.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving along. Number 8, report of commissioners and correspondence. Our board of trustee liaison, TJ, is absent. Zoning board of appeals.
Since the board last meeting, the 2 additional members that we were short were submitted and voted on yes. And then our first meeting will be June 13th at 6 o'clock.
Oh. Okay. Land preservation and conservation.
Okay, the Boy Scout project was kind of rain delayed, but they've been picking away at some of the work out there. We're moving along in terms of the process for the property to be preserved at for Bill and corner.
Brookville and what?
What's that? The
Curtis.
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 Okay.
Sorry, it's the south west corner. And that's in process or in progress. It's, nothing is complete until it's complete and all the paperwork is done, but at least everything is moving forward with that. We met with Land Legacy in our past meeting to discuss other options and opportunities going forward. So we're just looking at it, plugging away at it.
And you're running smooth, huh?
Things are going well.
Nice. Okay. Chairperson, me. Sorry, I was so haphazard today. Pull off the game. So, but I don't have anything to add. Everything's going well. Zoning administrators report.
All right, so, just got a list of some of the activity that's happened this month. There were 6 building permits issued. 2 were for home additions, 1 was for a deck, 1 was for a new single-family home, 1 was for a re-roofing, and 1 was a demolition permit. We also had 4 zoning compliance applications. 1 was for a agricultural barn, 40 by 80 barn, 2 sign permits, and 1 fence. So that is the activity that we had this month. I also have a draft noise ordinance that we've been working on, and I'm just going to pass this out. Obviously, you haven't had any time to read it. If you take some notes down, so I'd encourage you all to take a look at that. It's something that the township attorney and I have been working on based on some direction from the board. To deal with some of the noise issues that we've had, we're looking to get something on the books that's more enforceable than what we have currently. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that before our next meeting, and then maybe we can discuss it. This is a general law ordinance, so it's nothing that you would be required to take action on, but I think the board would certainly appreciate your feedback. So if obviously you are the ones who spend time thinking about planning issues and land use issues, and so think about how this may or may not be effective with the language that we put together. And then lastly, Pam and Bruce and I have been talking about, and we discussed this a number of months ago, but the Flag Day parade is coming up, and we're working on putting a little booth together just to let the public know who come to this event that we're working on the master plan and give them some kind of tidbits about what we're doing, what the updates include, and just encourage people to check that out when we put it out for review. So that concludes my report. Do you have any questions for me about any of those things?
No, I just think that with this, obviously haven't read this either, but we know a lot of the issues that are in our community because we hear about them all the time. People tell us. And there are a variety. It's not just here. You know, we've got a new area coming in. We really need to think about this as a whole and be prepared with questions and whatnot. So the more questions, I think, the better. And in regards to the Flag Day, it's more, we want to put out a table to just, more of an, as an educational purpose. To a lot of people don't know what we do. They think, you know, we're the mom and dads of the township, and we got to tell everybody what to do and make everybody compliant, and that's really not the case. That's not our role here. So we hope we can show people of the things that we're involved in and what we do. So if anybody would like to volunteer to help, it's, you know, Flag Day is fairly quick. It's only a couple hours. If anybody would like to volunteer and show up and hang out for half an hour, I think because we have such a nice variety of perspectives and backgrounds, it would be helpful.
Our objective would be to highlight the work that we're doing and what has been done and suggestions for the master plan and to encourage involvement rather than getting the negative feedback. Come and be involved, as well as, you know, put a positive spin on, you know, this is our town, let's be proud of it, et cetera, and that we share that, that goal, if you will. And from an administrative standpoint, I don't know if we have asked for a spot yet, but we have suggested a spot kind of right outside the driveway here on the other side as they pass from the park going down the vacant lot to the vending stuff.
Okay.
So, if we could ask for that spot for our table, it would be great.
There are a lot of things going on with, you know, the USD and the Hamlet and.
It'd be nice if we could increase the audience instead of most of the time talking to ourselves. You know, somehow with this presentation at Flag Day, you know, being visible and encouraging the people to come out to the meeting. It isn't.
Or even just, you know, just encourage people to look and see what the agenda is. If they were to keep an eye, just keep an eye, and when it applies to you, be proactive and show up, and as opposed to writing nasty grams and letters afterwards.
For the doctor's consumption, when we have a hot issue, it's standing room only in here.
Right. Oh, yeah,
But when there's, you know, no, you know, pending issue, then it can be, this is probably the smallest since I've been attending. I'm in my third term, so probably the least amount of people we've had.
Paul, when you were updating the permits that were given out, you had discussed about farm buildings. There's no permit required for a building related to a farm, is that correct or not?
Certain buildings for an actual agricultural use don't require a permit. So if you are building a structure that's used in that agricultural process, an applicant can come in and indicate that. We'll still look at it through zoning compliance to ensure that it meets all the setback requirements and that.
And a site plan still?
Yeah, they put together
Okay.
a plot plan basically for the individual site. So we do make sure that they meet the setbacks, but they don't have to go through the building permit process.
Thank you.
Do you find you have enough time to handle the things that are going on?
Some days it's fine, some days it's a little more hectic.
Because I'm thinking, you know, they've said that you're the ordinance guy now. And, you know, if that was to get out, you might get.
I'll borrow my gavel.
So, you know, I'm just.
Zoning administrator.
Yeah.
That's my role, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on your time, I guess, see if you need more.
All right.
Okay, thank you, that's good. Approval of the minutes for April 6th, oops, I'm sorry.
Just on this sound noise ordinance, section 5. A person shall not operate a motor vehicle on a highway or street if the vehicle has a defect in the exhaust system which affects sound reduction, is not equipped with a muffler or other noise dissipative device, or is equipped with a cutout bypass amplifier or a similar device. So if a guy goes through here, he's got a pinhole in his muffler, he's outside of this ordinance.
If it's
And
nice.
we're gonna enforce that.
We're gonna discuss that next month,
Yeah.
so get your questions
I'm just
ready.
gonna say, oh my head, really?
Yeah.
Come
Well,
on.
that's the point of a draft.
Okay.
You know, whenever you make a draft, no matter how many
Yep.
times you make it, you may throw out half to 90% of it each time, so. It was just, I think it was just a stab, right?
I will be asking where you got the standards for the DBA readings.
Okay,
Okay, like if you're standing next to a brand-new whatever vehicle that has met all DOT, and you're 65 feet away in an undeclared direction, whether you're behind it, pointing, looking right at the exhaust, or maybe side of it, if it's got a side out exhaust, does that vehicle, what DBA does that meet? If it's bouncing off of concrete, or in trees, or on a wet grass day, or on a dry day, what your humidity factor is and things like that. Because if the vehicle doesn't meet, as it comes off the lot, it's been unmodified, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's not
That's-
a
and
rule yet,
that's-
so.
That's, so the
Yep,
standards.
just
Do
make-
you have
well,
a vehicle in mind?
Okay. Number
Stay
9,
ready, Paul.
approval of the minutes, April 16th, 2018.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the draft April 16, 2018 as submitted.
I second that.
All those in favor of approving the minutes of April 16th, 2018 as submitted, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Public comment? Mr. Horton?
Just to bring up Northville again and Plymouth, the first parcel has been sold between Napier and Napier and Ridge Road. It's a $7 million complex. It's a Japanese company that's gonna manufacture something. It's Highway Research. And where the Delco was, there's going to be condominiums and all types of businesses, small businesses, strip stores. So it is in the process of being developed and sold. The north side, the same way. As I went by there the other day, I seen surveyors.
Where is that again?
The north side,
Deep.
Northville side, I seen surveyors out there.
5 Mile and what?
Between Ridge Road
Oh,
and
yeah,
Napier,
okay, yeah.
There'll be a $7 million complex.
Yeah.
It's been sold.
Wow.
So you're gonna have
Wow.
traffic starting to.
That's gonna be
move.
busy.
That's it.
It'd be hopeful you say they're gonna put condos in there.
And research centers.
The
Research
Northville
center.
paper,
Prioritize.
the Northville paper, most of us should get it, because our address is Northville. It shows the whole page of what's happening. They're gonna put a complex on 7 Mile Napier too, northeast corner.
Uh-huh. Wow. That whole area is
What,
gonna be.
what
The whole
corner
area is
there,
gonna be built.
Mr. Horton, what corner on 7 Mile? Napier.
I think it's on the northeast corner.
It's the direct truck road to the landfill.
The blue house there, there's a house there now.
Yeah.
It's relatively close to the road.
There's open land behind it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another parcel going in too, they're actually gonna fill in.
So it's all behind that existing subdivision that has like about 10 houses, it's all open, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Belmont or something,
Something
it's
like
called.
that, yeah. Those people are gonna be really disappointed.
Are they gonna expand the roads? No, that's the thing. They build all this stuff and you have the same roads.
Eventually, I bet they do.
Seems like they have to.
Well, that's usually the way the road commission works, right? You have to build it, create hoopla, and then they say they don't have enough money and they fix half of it, right?
Makes Home Depot happy. They'll create a lot more business for them.
And that's gonna be a huge complex on the north side too. There's 450 people.
Aren't they projecting some kind of higher end supermarket or something they were talking about? Whole Foods or something. Because they didn't, the Myers wanted to go in there and they said that was too lowbrow. They wanted something higher class for Northville.
It's in that book, everything.
In which book?
In the Northville paper, that new paper they just put out.
Oh, yeah?
I get a copy of it now.
The last edition, is it? Are you
Yeah, the
saying?
last edition.
Wonder, is that still in the newsstands, do you think?
Not the paper, it's that book.
A book.
It's like the Salem paper that goes around, they actually have it booked. It's
Oh, you're talking about they're like the messenger.
Norville or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, okay. Well, we could probably get a copy of that from their administration, right? Couldn't we? Do we get their stuff in? Do you know? Do they?
We see up on what Northville's doing, right, from a planning perspective.
Only if they change their master plan, do they notify us that they don't send us notifications of
Individual site.
individual sites or anything.
I don't think they would, but.
I'll see if I can find
If
it.
they were doing a rezoning that touched our border, they would send us.
They would send it out, okay. I was just wondering what the process was. Okay. No, just word of mouth, and it usually flies around fairly quickly, so. Okay. Any other public comment? No? That's it? Okay. Meeting adjourned at 8:24.
This is what this is about.
One person, like, you know, the person I did,
Budget people handle.
So where'd you live?
This is what this is all stemming from.
I will sit here. I do that, and my boss do something like I'll sneeze, and all of a sudden I turn my back out, and I'm like miserable for like a week. I'm like, what the heck?
The electrical steel we get or something. And it's a plane that
The one horse had an accident, so we couldn't drive her anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we drove the other one. But that
They don't have
didn't work out.
scales or Dan's excavating, and there's several people on that Chubb Road. Bob, who's the one that's banging their tailgates, the semi-tailgates at 4 in the morning? Is that Kayla or Dan's excavating, or who is it?
What don't you like about it?
So who's banging
There's a lot
tailgates?
here.
Yeah.
because he did not selfish to down.
Yeah, but it gives me a good place to start.
He grind concrete.
I don't accept any of the insurances.
Sent $1 million bucks to make
I'll
it
take
look
the
like-
Delta, but they will,
Voluntarily
the other, dental insurance type things.
He voluntarily restricted his operations.
The only way,
Insurance company is
and the only way that dentists can make it is to lie.
to make the people happy.
To make the people happy.
There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of it going on.
I believe it.
Okay.
I got a shut this thing off.
You hear a lot of things.
Zone commercial?